Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom TV. The hidden weaknesses of women from a Stoic perspective. Women often project an image of control, yet beneath this facade lie deep psychological triggers that can cause them to lose this control in the presence of the right man. From a Stoic standpoint, this loss of control is not merely an emotional reaction but a reflection of misplaced dependencies, attachments to external factors rather than inner stability. True power does not come from the ability to control others but from mastering one's own desires and impulses. When a woman finds herself irresistibly drawn to a man, it is often because he embodies qualities she subconsciously craves: strength, purpose, and emotional composure. However, if her sense of self is not rooted in her own virtue and reason, she may surrender control, becoming reactive rather than intentional in her choices. Attraction transcends mere appearance, wealth, or status. It is fundamentally psychological, driven by the perception of internal strength. Just as a Stoic man must guard against being swayed by fleeting pleasures, a woman must cultivate self-awareness to avoid being overtaken by unconscious desires. Only through self-mastery can she engage in relationships from a position of true power rather than vulnerability. 1. The power of touch. Touch bypasses rational thought and directly influences emotional responses. It is a primal force, one that operates beneath the surface of conscious reasoning, triggering biochemical reactions that foster trust, comfort, and desire. From a Stoic standpoint, however, it is essential to recognize that these responses are not true indicators of wisdom or virtue, but rather biological impulses that can either serve or enslave us. Physical contact increases oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, which creates a sense of connection. Yet, a Stoic understands that true trust and attraction must be built on character and integrity, not mere physiological reactions. To be ruled by the sensations of touch without discernment is to surrender autonomy. Skillful, intentional touch can enhance attraction and influence power dynamics. Yet it must be wielded with awareness. The Stoic principle of temperance teaches that one must not be a slave to fleeting pleasures. The forbidden effect, scarcity principle, makes what is withheld more desirable. But a Stoic recognizes that desire is an internal construct, not an external necessity. Mastery over one's impulses, rather than blind submission to them, is the key to true strength in any interaction. 2. The forbidden effect from. Desire often intensifies when something is perceived as scarce or unattainable. Women, like all humans, are drawn to what they cannot easily possess. This is not a matter of logic but of psychological wiring. What is rare appears valuable. However, from a Stoic viewpoint, true worth is not determined by external validation but by inner virtue and self-sufficiency. A man who is always available risks being taken for granted because abundance breeds complacency. The Stoic man does not make himself scarce as a manipulation tactic but because he genuinely leads a purposeful life. His time is devoted to his mission, his discipline, and his self-mastery. He does not seek to be desired. He simply exists in accordance with his principles. And that, paradoxically, makes him desirable. Unpredictability creates craving because it disrupts expectations. But the Stoic does not play games, he remains unattached to outcomes. A high-value man is not one who withholds himself for effect, but one who does not depend on external approval. His strength lies in his independence. And it is this unwavering self-sufficiency that naturally commands respect, admiration, and attraction. 3. Why drama keeps her hooked. Emotional turbulence creates dopamine spikes, reinforcing attachment through highs and lows. This cycle can keep women engaged, not because of genuine connection, but because the unpredictability stimulates the neurological reward system. However, from a Stoic standpoint, relying on emotional extremes for engagement is a sign of internal instability rather than true fulfillment. Predictability can lead to boredom, while unpredictability fuels excitement, but a Stoic does not seek to manipulate or be manipulated by these forces. Instead of chasing or providing emotional roller coasters, he remains centered in his own purpose. He does not aim to be predictable or unpredictable. He simply acts in accordance with his values, indifferent to fleeting emotional reactions. The key to sustained attraction is not artificial absence or calculated presence but maintaining an unwavering sense of self. A Stoic man is not emotionally volatile, nor does he depend on external drama to feel alive. His strength lies in his ability to offer stability without dullness, presence without desperation, and distance without neglect. True attraction is built on respect. And respect is only given to those who govern themselves rather than being governed by emotional impulses. 4. How a man's tone controls her mind. A deep, slow, and controlled voice signals dominance, confidence, and composure. It is not merely a biological trigger but a reflection of a man's internal state. From a Stoic perspective, the way one speaks is an outward manifestation of inner stability. A man who has mastered himself does not rush his words, nor does he seek validation through excessive speech. His voice carries weight because it is grounded in reason, not fleeting emotions. Rhythm and well-placed pauses create anticipation and attraction, not as a manipulation tool, but as a demonstration of presence and control. A Stoic man understands that speech is not just about words but about intention. He does not speak to impress or dominate but to express clarity and truth. His restraint in speech mirrors his restraint in action, deliberate, measured, and free from impulsivity. While tone can influence perception, the Stoic does not rely on external tricks to command respect. True authority comes from living in accordance with virtue, not from artificially altering one's voice. A strong voice is merely an echo of a strong mind, one that is unshaken, self-possessed, and indifferent to the need for approval. 5. The hidden effect of jealousy. Women, like all humans, are influenced by social proof, the idea that value is reinforced by external validation. A man who is desired by others naturally appears more attractive, not because of any intrinsic change in his worth, but because scarcity creates perceived value. However, from a Stoic standpoint, true value is not dictated by external opinions but by inner virtue and self-mastery. A man who fixates on one woman to the exclusion of all else risks signaling neediness, which diminishes his perceived worth. The Stoic does not base his identity on the approval or attention of others. He remains indifferent to both praise and rejection. He does not seek validation through competition but understands that genuine attraction arises from his unwavering commitment to his own path. A high-value man does not feign desirability, nor does he attempt to manufacture jealousy. Instead, his life is rich with purpose, and his presence is naturally in demand. Without appearing desperate, he subtly communicates that he is not easily possessed, not by playing mind games, but by genuinely being a man whose attention is earned, not given freely out of insecurity. 6. The sweet spot of rushing into commitment or excessive self-disclosure weakens attraction because it removes the element of challenge. From a Stoic standpoint, this is not about playing games but about practicing temperance, moderation in all things, including emotional investment. A man who immediately gives himself away has not mastered himself. He is acting out of impulse rather than intention. Women, like all humans, find value in what is earned. The chase is not about manipulation but about the perception of worth. A Stoic man does not seek to make himself scarce artificially, rather, he is naturally selective with his time and energy. His focus is on his purpose, his discipline, and his internal world, making his presence something to be valued rather than taken for granted. Delayed gratification builds anticipation and desire because it aligns with the natural human tendency to appreciate what is not instantly available. However, a Stoic does not withhold for the sake of strategy. He simply does not need immediate validation. His emotional restraint is not a tactic but a reflection of his inner stability. He is in control, not driven by fleeting urges, and that self-possession is the very thing that makes him truly desirable. 7. The fantasy effect. Women, like all humans, are drawn to the emotions they associate with a person, especially in their absence. The mind fills gaps with idealized images, making what is unknown more alluring than what is fully revealed. From a Stoic standpoint, this effect is not about deception but about understanding human nature. People value what they must work to understand. Mystery and intrigue make a man unforgettable because they engage the imagination, which is often more powerful than reality. However, a Stoic man does not cultivate mystery as a tactic. He is simply not concerned with constant validation. His life is full, his purpose is clear, and he does not feel the need to explain or justify himself to gain approval. His absence is not a game. It is the natural byproduct of a life well lived. Over-explaining diminishes attraction because it removes the space for curiosity. The Stoic does not rush to be understood, nor does he seek to control how others perceive him. He speaks with intention and allows his actions to define him. He remains indifferent to external opinions, knowing that true power lies in his ability to govern himself, not in the fleeting admiration of others. 8. The authority effect. Women, like all people, are drawn to those who exude confidence and self-assurance. A man who hesitates or seeks constant approval signals insecurity. He is externally driven rather than internally anchored. From a Stoic standpoint, true leadership is not about dominance over others but mastery over oneself. A Stoic man does not waver in his decisions out of fear of rejection or judgment. He acts based on reason and principle, indifferent to fleeting opinions. Decisiveness and certainty are attractive because they reflect inner strength. A man who knows his values and follows them without hesitation radiates stability. He does not seek permission to be himself, he simply is. This unwavering self-trust naturally commands respect. For people, women included, gravitate toward those who do not falter in the face of uncertainty. A man who takes charge earns trust not by force, but by his ability to remain composed under pressure. He does not demand respect, he embodies it. His authority is not a performance but a reflection of his disciplined mind. He does not rule over others, he rules over himself. And it is this unshakable self-possession that makes him truly irresistible. 9. The emotional drug. Women, like all humans, can become addicted to emotional highs and lows, mistaking volatility for passion. This is not a sign of deep connection but of the mind's attachment to external stimulation. From a Stoic perspective, true fulfillment does not come from fleeting emotional spikes but from inner stability and self-mastery. A Stoic man does not chase or create drama to maintain attraction. He cultivates a presence that is engaging yet unshaken. Stable but predictable relationships often lack excitement because they remove the element of uncertainty that fuels desire. However, the solution is not to manufacture chaos but to embody a life of purpose and challenge. A man who is deeply engaged in his own growth remains naturally intriguing. His presence is never dull because he is not stagnant, he is constantly evolving, making his energy dynamic and compelling. The right mix of teasing, challenge, and unpredictability is not about playing games but about embodying a mindset of non-attachment. A Stoic does not make himself predictable by over-investing, nor does he create artificial distance. Instead, he remains focused on his own path, allowing his self-possession and unwavering purpose to make him inherently captivating. 10. The submissive trigger. Despite modern independence, most women instinctively desire a man who provides a sense of security, not just physical, but emotional and psychological. From a Stoic standpoint, this craving is not about dominance but about stability. A man who is grounded in his own principles creates an environment where a woman feels safe to fully embrace her nature. Strength, in this sense, is not about control over others but mastery over oneself. A strong masculine presence does not mean aggression or force, it means unwavering composure. A Stoic man does not seek validation through dominance, He naturally commands respect through his disciplined mind and unshakable purpose. His certainty allows a woman to let go of unnecessary defenses, knowing she is in the presence of someone who is not easily swayed by emotions or external pressures. Confidence, clear boundaries, and firm leadership make surrender possible, not through coercion, but through trust. A Stoic does not demand submission. He inspires it by embodying self-sufficiency and wisdom. He does not seek to control, only to remain in control of himself. And it is this self-governance that allows a woman to truly relax in his presence, knowing she is with a man who cannot be shaken. Conclusion. Understanding these psychological triggers allows a man to distinguish himself, not by manipulation, but by self-mastery. A Stoic does not seek validation through external tactics. He understands that true attraction stems from his ability to govern himself. A man who is ruled by his emotions, seeking approval or affection, becomes enslaved to forces outside his control. Conversely, a man who is self-contained, who operates from principle rather than impulse, naturally commands attention. Mastering attraction is not about superficial traits like appearance or wealth, but about the emotional impact a man leaves behind. A Stoic recognizes that emotions are fleeting, both in himself and in others. He does not chase desire, nor does he seek to create it artificially. Instead, he cultivates presence, strength, and purpose, knowing that these qualities resonate far deeper than material possessions. Confidence, mystery, and unpredictability fuel attraction, but a Stoic does not manufacture them as tactics. He is confident because he trusts himself. He is mysterious because he does not feel the need to explain or prove himself. He is unpredictable because he is not bound by societal expectations. In mastering himself, he naturally becomes magnetic, not through effort, but through unwavering self-possession. Thank you for watching. I hope this message has touched your heart and brought meaning to your life. If you found this content valuable, please subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. Like and share this video with your friends and family. Comment below to share your thoughts and experiences on this topic. See you in the next video.